Today is the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation in Canada. It is an opportunity for all of us to reflect on the truth of Canada's history and the ongoing intergenerational trauma caused by residential schools. We stand for hope and change.
It's that time of week again. It's time for BAM. Thank you for listening. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour! How's everybody doing out there? We hope you are doing well. Oh man, what a game last night for the Blue Jays, Boris. That was one of the best games of the entire season, all of baseball.
That was absolutely insane. It actually reminded me a lot of 2017 Game 5 LA Astros with those cheating MFers. That game was absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's a really good call. It's exactly kind of had that playoff vibe, Boris. And yeah, we're nearing the home stretch. NFL is heating up. Toronto is cooling down. How are you doing today, man?
I am doing fantastic. I'm doing wonderful. It's a beautiful day. It's been a beautiful week, and it's going to be a beautiful episode because on this episode, we're going to be talking about MLB. It is playoff race time galore. I don't recall a year where we've seen two races where things can just completely shift overnight. How did we go from a 3-team race to now a 4-team race in the AL? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be chatting NFL Week 3, Week 4 preview. Then in the wrestling, Matt, we have tons of wrestling to discuss. We're going to be talking RoH TV, MLW Fusion. We're going to be talking some Impact and a ton of G1 from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, we're going to catch up on the G1. We watched nights 4, night 5, night 6, and 7 this morning. We're going to get you all up to date on all of these things. We're not going to go too in depth, obviously, just time-wise. We're going to breeze by it, try to get all this in a tight 90 minutes, perhaps 2 hours. Try to keep it nice and short and sweet as possible. But yeah, man, life is good. You know, hanging in there, swinging away.
That's all you can really do at this point, man. It's so busy right now. Work has been busy. The wrestling stuff has been absolutely busy, and I love it. Real life has been busy, and I love it. Things have been pretty good overall. Like you said, the city is cooling down. As the city cools down, my sinuses go up.
Yeah, definitely allergy season. I was just thinking, man, I need to get me some Claritin in this house right now. I'm a little stuffy, but you know, life goes on, buddy. It's definitely nice. It's a nice, cool, like 15 degrees. It's hoodie weather. It's football season. I feel like roasting some dogs and throwing the pig skin around, or roasting some pigs and throwing the dog skin around, or something. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
You have to be very careful with that one. Yeah, no, dude, it's been crazy. But you know what? Without further ado, let's get to it because there's so much to talk. Dude, let's start with some baseball. Like you said at the top of the show, New York Yankees versus Toronto Blue Jays from last night. To be exact, it was September 29th. That game was absolutely insane. I thought Toronto had it in the bag.
Yeah, same. It was up and down, back and forth. Yeah, my roommate was actually there. What a game to see. Definitely the best Blue Jays game of the season. Arguably the best baseball game of the season. Just a really entertaining affair. Very important, too. So the Jays are now a game back of the wild card, Boris. They're hanging tough, man.
Yep. But the new contender has arrived. I think Seattle is a half game back. They were able to beat the A's last night in another incredibly fun game to watch. I was able to watch that as well.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I was not able. I did not see a second, not a single pitch of that one. But yeah, Seattle currently a half game back. Toronto a full game back of Boston for the final wild card spot. Now, obviously, we're big homers. We're huge Blue Jays fans. Most of the people, I think, listening to this, being a Canadian podcast here on the SNME Radio Network, I think we kind of lean toward the Blue Jays. But if the Blue Jays are not going to make it, I'm definitely okay attaching my flag to the Seattle bandwagon. I'm going Mariners.
I'm not. No, Seattle.
No,
nothing. Nah. Why? Cascadia can keep it.
No love for the Mariners. I've loved the Mariners ever since Ken Griffey Jr. baseball, 1996 on the N64.
No, not even. Not even Ken Griffey Jr. can get me to cheer for the freaking Mariners.
Oh, man. No, I did. That's the longest playoff drought in all of sports, if I'm not mistaken, Boris,
right now,
the Seattle
yes.
Mariners.
Right now, yes. Yep. Buffalo was able to the Bills, that is, to break that curse last season.
Get the monkey off their back. So, yeah, anyway, I obviously we're cheering for Toronto. We are a Go Blue Jays, A-OK, let's play ball kind of podcast over here, Boris.
It's crazy.
But, personally,
we have, 4 games left. We have to win every single game moving forward. We have to have results going our way at this point. But is it feasible that there's going to be a 4-game or a 4-team tie at the end of the season? Is that humanly possible?
It's humanly possible, man. It would be insane, but it is. Like, look at how close these teams are. Yankees 90-68, Boston 89-69, Seattle 89-70, Toronto 87-70. We're all right there.
That's crazy. That is crazy. You know, the unfortunate part is that there are teams with games on hand. So that's the thing that kind of has me really worried. You know, we have an off day. Actually, no, we don't have an off day anymore. But it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. The teams that had I should have said, the teams that had a game in hand going into this into this weekend, they were able to get wins. So it's kind of unfortunate for the Jays.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, just my overall point, Boris, was would you not rather see Seattle make the playoffs than freaking Boston?
Nope.
Ugh.
Nope. Not at all.
All right.
Not at all. Not at all. Seattle can suck it.
Harsh. Okay, so yeah, if the season did end today, our wild card games would be Yankees versus Red Sox and Dodgers versus Cardinals, which is just the absolute wet dream of the MLB. That's absolutely exactly what they want. Those are arguably the 4 most storied teams in all of baseball, the 4 biggest markets. That's what you want, right?
That's
exactly St. Louis, not the biggest market, but.
Well, but they're a storied team, and like I said, not only are they the hottest team in all of sports right now, but they always manage to beat the Dodgers no matter how good or bad the Dodgers are. So, dude, like, that is not the matchup I want as a Dodgers fan.
Yeah, you've said that before, so the Dodgers better get to stepping and catch the Giants here. They have running out of time.
Yeah.
But, so the divisional playoffs, I think, would be Astros versus White Sox, and the Rays would play the wild card team. And Brewers versus Braves, and the Giants would play the wild card team, right? So,
yep. Dude, another possibility. Let's assume everything goes our way, and the Jays make it into the wild card game, win the wild card game. That series versus Tampa Bay might be more reckless, might have more fights than the Texas-Toronto series from 2016.
Oof. That was a hockey series, Texas-Toronto. That was they're bench clearing brawls in that thing. But yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome. God,
you know that there's a lot of ill will between those 2 teams right now after the last series.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. After the whole lineup card controversy and subsequent plunking that occurred.
Yep, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I can't. This weekend is going to be intense. I'm lucky enough to be going to the game on Sunday. Hopefully, it will be a meaningful game. At the same time, if it is a meaningful game, I might be drinking a little too much. We'll see.
Well, that's going to be awesome, though, man. Definitely best of luck to you and your liver. And hopefully the boys pull it out for you. But yeah, so Red Sox, Orioles tonight, Blue Jays, Yankees tonight. Huge games. Seattle, they're on the are they playing tonight?
I believe they are. I want to say that they're still facing the A's.
Right. I actually, unless I'm tripping balls here, Boris, I don't think I see them on the schedule. Seattle might have the night off.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, Seattle has the night off, and they start tomorrow versus the Angels.
All right, Ohtani, become the MVP and stop the Mariners.
Yes, sir. Yeah, 3 games to glory, Ohtani. Please do it for your friends here in Canada.
Yep. Oh, crazy stuff. All right, man, let's move on to the NFL. Week 3 was something crazy. Carolina, real? What's going on? I know we talked about this last week, but, they did play the Thursday night game, and, oh, man, they just wiped the floor with the Texans.
Yeah, absolutely destroyed the Texans. Sam Darnold looking good, and they've had 10 days to prepare for the Dallas Cowboys, so that is going to be interesting, Boris. The Cowboys are a public team, obviously, America's team, as they say. So if the Panthers are for real and they do come out and smash Dallas, then they're going to be on the map in a serious way. People are not going to be sleeping on the Carolina Panthers anymore. Dallas might be a really good team, though. They just cranked the Eagles rather on Monday night, right? 41-21 it was.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. That actually, this week, the game that I'm most excited for is Panthers-Cowboys, just to see which of those two teams actually is a threat in the NFC. Because one of them will emerge, Boris, from that game unless they tie 0-0, which honestly is a possibility with those.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Justin Tucker. Must we talk about him?
Oh, we have to. First of all, poor Lions fans, just the worst beats, just no luck in Detroit. But Justin Tucker with an NFL record 66-yard field goal off the upright, the doink and in.
The only time I've ever been able to do that was in Tecmo Super Bowl for the NES.
That's hilarious. Yeah, not even in video games can you pull that move off. Yeah, Justin Tucker, he's got to be the best kicker I've seen in my lifetime, right? I think so. Like, it's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy how good he is. That kick, 66 yards. Holy shit. That's just insane.
He deserves to have his name in the record books as the guy who kicked the longest kick. I think he is the best kicker. You don't say these words often, Boris, but I think he's a Hall of Fame kicker.
Ooh, those are quite the words to say, especially in the NFL, especially for a kicker. Now, Chargers, Chiefs. Chiefs, if you had told me at the beginning of the season that the Chiefs would be 1-2, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're in last place in this division right now, and it's looking like it might be the best division in football overall. All 4 teams have a chance to be really, really good here. The Broncos, they've only given up 26 points all year so far through 3 games. That's pretty tasty. They got a nice defense there in Denver. I'm not worried about the Chiefs long term, though. Andy Reid is kind of like there were some issues there with his health. It's going to be. They're the team that everyone's gunning for. I'm okay with them starting slow. I think, like we've said this before, I think once the season ends, we'll see where the Chiefs are. But I'm not worried yet. I am far from worried yet about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep, and our Dolphins are just sucking.
Yeah, I am very worried about the Dolphins. Thankfully, it's Dolphins Colts, right? 2 teams who have just aggressively shot their pants this season. So. I don't know. It's a real battle of who wants it less, Boris.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, what do we have on deck for week 4? Jaguars Bengals is going on the Thursday nighter. That's going to be a fun snooze fest.
Yeah, that's a terrible game, but it's nice because it's the last 2 number 1 overall picks in football at quarterback against each other. So it's interesting for that reason. But yeah, it's going to be a largely terrible game. Hopefully it's a shootout. And both the young kids get a chance to spray the ball around the field a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of a weird week, kind of a stinky week. I do think the best games on top are definitely the 1 o'clock game that I'm paying closest attention to will be the Cowboys versus Panthers game. And then at 4 o'clock, Cardinals versus Rams. That game's going to be awesome too.
I think Ravens Broncos is going to be fun too. Steelers Packers is always fun, but the Sunday nighter is one to watch just for the promos we're going to get leading up to the game, and that's the Buccaneers Patriots, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick going at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously the marquee matchup. Like to a normal to any football fan, that's the key. That's Brady versus Belichick. That's the main event. That's Austin versus McMahon, basically, right there.
That literally is. I was waiting if you were going to say it, I would have.
It's a WrestleMania main event waiting to happen. I just kind of hate both parties. It's a heel versus heel program to me, Boris. I don't care who wins.
Yep. Exactly. I really don't care whatsoever. But yeah, dude, NFL's really, I would have to say it's an off week overall this week. There are a couple games to watch out for, but that's pretty much it. We'll see what goes on. Is it time to move? Go ahead.
Yeah. I find just generally week 4 and 5, if you're gambling, they kind of do this on purpose. They kind of stock some blowouts in here. There's obviously a couple competitive games, but by and large, week 4 and 5 is where the NFL kind of levels out. And it's where like good teams beat some bad teams. And they kind of book it like this on purpose because the baseball playoffs are starting, NHL and NBA starting, and it's a very busy time of year, and the NFL is actually on the back burner a little bit. So for gamblers out there, week 4 and week 5, that's where you make your money. That's very, very tasty. Those are fertile weeks, Boris.
Yep, 100%. My friends who are into the gambling of sorts, they're loving this week and next week. It's hilarious they even say that because they say the same thing. I'm not a gambler. I am, I do many things. Gambling is not one of them.
Nice. Well, it's like anything else. It could be very addictive. I do gamble a little bit. I'm not like crazy with it. I do have friends who are like heavy, like actually like bet like a lot of money, and even just through OLG Pro Line, like make consistent money all the time, betting lots and making lots. But I have I have my fantasy pools and such, and I gamble here and there on the side. I usually take a bath when I gamble on UFC, but I'm pretty decent at football and hockey.
Yep, exactly. All right, I think that's time. It is time to move on to the wrestling portion of the show.
Awesome, let's do it. Much to discuss, my friend.
Yep, tons to discuss. So we're going to start with some RoH. So this week, there were only 2 matches yet again. There was a 4-way survival match and a Pure Rules Protege versus Mentor match. So we're going to start with the Protege versus Mentor match. Brian Johnson versus PJ Black, Pure Rules. This was a fun match. Basically, PJ Black, this was Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. This pretty much PJ Black had control early on, started getting a little cocky. Brian Johnson had it, and and unfortunately there was another schmoz ending. So essentially, Brian Johnson eye poked PJ Black, and then he did his neck breaker that he calls the process, and he got the pin at 10 minutes 58 seconds. I understand what they're going for. I understand that this is his gimmick, that he's going to be a heel, you see, and as a heel he's going to be cheating to win. But there's something about the Pure Rules match and something about that type of way to get a win in RoH that kind of rubs me the wrong way, but it's impactful when they do it. So I'm gonna give it a bye, and I really enjoy Brian Johnson. So Brian Johnson is last week he won the Pure Rules Gauntlet. This week he won a Pure Rules match with PJ Black. So he's really trying to cement himself as the next contender. So that's cool. But this match itself, I would give this match 3.5 handshakes, 3.5 Pure Rules out of 5.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, man, we love Brian Johnson around here. I feel bad for him, though. He's going to have to rename his finisher. The process has ended in Philadelphia.
Yes. Yeah, big time. It is collapsed. It is destroyed. We should talk about that sometime, probably when we know what the hell's happening.
Yeah. Once Ben Simmons officially gets traded and the process is officially over, we can talk about it in the first half of BAM and then suggest a new finisher name in the second half of BAM.
I love it. All right, the main event was a four-way survival match, not an elimination, survival. Brody King, Jay Lethal, Kenny King, and Shane Taylor. So this match was really fun. Now, the timing of these TV shows is really starting to irritate me. A four-man match in 9 minutes and 21 seconds, Matt.
That sucks. It's just not exactly going to get the time it needs to breathe. And there's going to be a lot of people just laying around selling and kind of waiting for the next move, etc. Yep. Trying to get their shit in, as they say.
That's exactly it. But the storytelling was really good. So Lethal and Brody King started the match. They had their big pay-per-view match a couple pay-per-views ago. So it was fun to see this. And Lethal learned from their last time. Because if you remember at the pay-per-view, Matt, Brody King just annihilated Lethal. He just overpowered him. Lethal came in using his smarts. He came in with fast attacks, got the advantage on Brody King. So that was really cool. Shane Taylor went in. Shane Taylor and Jay Lethal were going at it. If you remember from this past pay-per-view, Kenny King and Shane Taylor kind of had a small breakout storyline going, so that was continued in this match. And then, Brody King essentially just is being lined up to be the next one to face Bandito, because the end of the match, we saw Kenny King lifting up Shane Taylor. He got a Blue Thunder bomb, to which Brody King came in, threw Kenny King out the ring, hit Taylor with a clothesline to the jaw, a lariat, got the win in 9 minutes and 21 seconds. So your winner was Brody King.
Nice. Yeah. Like you said, he did absolutely steamroll young Jay Lethal in the pay-per-view. So that's good. They're keeping him strong, and I'm glad they did a little bit of storytelling in this match, and it wasn't just dudes laying around.
Yeah, the person that was there, I guess, to really lay the foundation, pardon the pun, was Jay Lethal at the end of the day, right? And he was kind of the odd man out, but his experience and just him being Jay Lethal puts a bigger emphasis on Brody King's win.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. He is the, for lack of a better term, the Ric Flair, the Hulk Hogan, the Babe Ruth of RoH, or he's at least positioned as such, if he's not really,
Yep,
They tell you he is.
Yeah, exactly. So I would give this match another 3.5 handshakes out of 5. Overall fun show. So I think we're going to move on to some MLW Fusion Alpha, episode 2. It was taped in Philadelphia. It was aired last night on the YouTube page. So this had 2 good matches and 1 squash, which was meh. Arez versus Aramis is a must-watch match from this show. I thoroughly enjoyed this match a lot.
Oh, please do go on, because I have not seen this show yet. I was busy catching up on the old G1 and scribing it out over at sportspap.com. Anyway, Boris, please enlighten us as to why this match was so great.
All right, Aramis, honestly, he is the next Laredo Kid. He is the next Rey Fenix. This kid is awesome. Such a good luchador. This match had a lot of near falls, but not like annoying near falls. It's just very good near falls, well thought out, non-stop action, to be 100% honest. Arez got a wild code breaker like move for the near fall. Arez then went for a shooting star press. Aramis avoided it. He performed a spinning torture rack into a power bomb, and that's how he ended up winning. Honestly, such a fun match. Bell to bell, it was so much fun. I wasn't able to time this match, however, but it was such a good match. I'm going to have to give this match 4 fusions out of 5.
4 out of 5. Great match here at BAM Sports and Entertainment. That's dope, man. Good for the young lads. I'll definitely check that out.
Yep. After the match, they shook hands. This was so freaking good. All right. We got a vignette for Tajiri, who's going to be on the Fightland special that's going to air next Thursday on Vice TV exclusively. Tajiri is going to MLW.
Awesome. I hope he's still got something left in the tank, man, because like 01, 2000, 1999 Tajiri, like late ECW Tajiri, one of the most underrated badasses, one of the coolest wrestlers ever. Tajiri versus Steve Corino, god damn, that match is amazing.
Yep. All right. Cesar Duran, he was talking on the phone. His masked sidekick appeared looking for something. Matt Cross showed up, says he needed an answer. Matt Cross says he deserves a title shot. Duran said Cross could have a title shot against Fatu. Duran nodded, and then his masked man led Cross away. So there we go. Matt
Cross.
Yep.
He's one of those guys who I thought was Canadian because he appears on every indie show that I've ever seen in my life. It was Matt Cross was on it. I thought he was a Canadian guy, but he's actually from like Ohio or something.
Yep. Yeah, he just wrestles here a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sammy Callahan, right? Like he's always up here doing indie shows.
Yeah, but yeah, indeed, Sammy Callahan also not Canadian.
Yep. It was officially announced Fatu versus Cross at next week's Alpha. We also have Willow Nightingale versus Ashley Vox. We'll see what happens there. The second match, this was all right. This was Alex Kane versus Bud Heavy.
Bud
Heavy. Yep.
When I travel up to Sudbury, I usually try to be Bud Heavy. No, never mind.
All right. So Kane finished off Heavy with a ripcord Olympic slam. He put one foot on him. The referee made the count. Alex Kane defeated Bud Heavy. After the match, Heavy flipped off Kane, who returned to the ring and performed a ton of suplexes on him. This is all right. I don't know. I really didn't care about this too much. I would give this match 2.5 fusions out of 5.
Nice. Typical Mendoza line kind of squash for Bud Heavy.
For Alex Kane to Bud Heavy.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Elisa Touts interviewed Edge and Duca, noted that he had the most eliminations in the Battle Riot match, and Duca said it felt good to show everyone how good he is. He said he would show up and show out. I like this Nduka kid. He's really good. They seem to be putting a lot of emphasis on him and whatnot.
It's insane that NXT let this guy go. Like, isn't this exactly what they're looking for right now?
Yep, 100%. No or barely any wrestling background, professional athlete, good look, hoss body. Go figure.
And he can talk. He's not like an idiot. He's like a smart, articulate guy who can cut a decent promo, and you want to see more of him when you see him in the ring or outside of the ring. So I have no idea how in God's name they let this guy go.
Yep. All right. After that, we got a video package to highlight Conan's team of Rivera and Slice Boogie. I'm still undecided on these two. These two just look weird. But yeah,
I do like Slice Boogie. When we watch NWA, he stands out as a guy who's like above the pack slightly. I like Slice Boogie. It'll be interesting to see him in an environment that's not NWA, surrounded by like Tyrus.
Right, Tyrus. All right,
worst wrestler in the business. Sorry,
he's up there. He's up there. We got a Fightland Control Center type vignette hyping up the Vice TV special next week, because next week we're getting Fatu versus Hammerstone in the Title V title match, Myron Reed versus Aramis versus Ares versus Tajiri in a 4-way for the MLW Middleweight Championship, and then Alicia Atout hosts MLW Embedded with pro wrestling reporters taking part.
Interesting. It sounds like a watchable thing.
Yep. A vignette aired for Bobby effin' Fish.
So this guy's just all over the place right now. He's making the rounds, this Bobby Fish. He ain't retired. I'll never retire, he says.
Yep. Well, he should.
Well, he's a good in-ring hand, as they say. I don't think he's a good promo. He thinks he's a good promo. I disagree. But yeah, he's a good guy to have on the MLW roster. I think he's a good guy for Sammy Guevara's first title defense. It's interesting that he's out there doing his thing.
Yeah. Just like a lot of other people, he has something to prove, right?
Yeah.
And why not enjoy
very
the
true.
forbidden door being open while you can? Because who knows how long this forbidden door is realistically going to be open.
I think it could go forever or it could end tomorrow. It's one of those things, man. You never know. So exactly, like milk it for all it's worth while these opportunities are in front of you.
Unfortunately, and I hate to say this because I never want to see this, but unfortunately, I feel that it's going to end after that first injury.
That's interesting, man. That's very interesting. We'll see. Luckily, the cons have deep pockets, so I'm sure insurance / any kind of financial compensation could be in order. But you're right. That's something I hadn't even considered, man.
Yeah. All right. Main event of the night: Alex Hammerstone versus Tom Lawler for the MLW National Openweight Championship. This match was all right. This match wasn't the best. This match wasn't the worst. I love Tom Lawler. He's awesome, but he did not win. This match was overall pretty fun. What's his name? Alexander Hammerstone got the clean win. He got the 100% clean win. Made sense that he was going to win. He does. He will be facing Fatu next week. So, yeah, it made sense.
The immortal Hulk Hammerstone. Interesting.
Yeah. They're really pushing that Hogan-like character.
Big time. And I mean, say what you will about the guy, it's kind of working for him. I don't necessarily super love it, but he leans into it with all of his heart. And hey, man, it's going to be his thing. We'll see. I don't think it has a chance to get over near 1% as much as the actual Hulk Hogan, but.
Oh, for sure. It's like Jackson Ryder, right? Yeah. So after the match, he goes backstage. Alicia Tout was going to interview Hammerstone. She was pushed out of the way as Contra Unit comes in, beats Hammerstone up as the feed gets killed.
All right. So Fusion Alpha, an unfortunately named television or YouTube program, but it seems like it was a pretty decent watch overall. 1 hour long, I'm guessing?
Yep. Just 1 hour.
That's not bad, man. That's not bad.
Yep. All right. Let us move to.
Yes. Well, just overall, before we do, thumbs up, thumbs down. How do you feel about MLW Fusion Alpha, and will you continue to watch?
I would have to give this a thumbs up. This was a very fun show. It was fun. It was good. There was a crowd. It had the recipe to make things really, really, really good, really watchable. The production isn't the worst. The matches were pretty good, and they seem to have this pretty good formula on hand. If every second match of the card is going to be a squash, then I'm fine. That's cool. Let's do it.
All right. That sounds good, man. Yeah. They're kind of trying to be the mix between Dynamite and Dark all at once, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Because, they have these wrestlers that no one knows of that they're trying to promote. They do hype reels for them, but then they also have these guys like the Bobby Fishes, the Tajiris, like the Fatus, who everyone kind of knows. The household names, for lack of a better term, right?
Yes, absolutely. Man, I feel bad for Tajiri, but he kind of deserves a little more. If I were Tony Khan, Tajiri would be my Christian. He's the guy who I think is the best and most underrated wrestler out there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's move to Impact. The reason why we're talking Impact, it is because we are on the road to Bound for Glory, and it's going to be a huge match. Josh Alexander is going for it. He is going for it against Christian, a good old Canada versus Canada, Ontario v. Ontario match.
I'm very excited for that. I think and hope Josh Alexander will win. I think he's ready for that world title. I think he deserves it. He'd be a worthy champion. I'm excited to see him with that belt around his waist. Man, it's going to be awesome to see Christian versus Josh Alexander. As you said, two good Canadian boys, Boris.
Yep. So I'll try to go through this a little quicker. So Scott D'Amore gets things started. He explains option C. He brings out Josh Alexander. He reminds Josh Alexander that once he hands over the title, a tournament will begin to crown a new champion. So he kind of wants to make sure that this is what Josh Alexander wants. Alexander, and I love this, dude. Look at what the story that they're going here. Josh Alexander says that, he had neck surgery 6 years ago. He had doubts about his future, but he has no doubts now because he knows he can be the face of Impact. This brings out Christian Cage, who says Alexander almost lost his career, but Christian did lose his career for 7 years. Cage tells him to think about this because right now he is the face of the X division, but he won't be the face of this company because he's the champ. Instead, he'll just be another face in the crowd. Josh Alexander says this makes his decision that much easier, and he hands over the title to Scott D'Amore.
Nice. Oh, that's good, man. Good bit of storytelling. Sounds like a decent promo. How is Josh Alexander as a promo guy?
He's not too bad. He's not too bad. I thought he would be more. He's not Lance Storm. He's not Bret Hart.
Right.
But he's still a little serious, but not stiff. He knows how to deliver the right lines. He knows how to get his point across.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's like you say, serious is okay, but like stiff and wooden is not okay in professional wrestling.
Exactly. All right, so Scott D'Amore leaves the ring. Ace Austin, Madman Fulton are there to interrupt. Austin doesn't go away quietly after a loss at Victory Road and calls out Josh Alexander for being a quitter. He would never give up the title like that, but Alexander says that wasn't an option because Alexander took the title from him. The fight is on, but Austin's cane shot hits Cage by mistake. So that's pretty much where we're at. Then we got Rich Swann, Willie Mack. They're apparently not happy after losing their tag title shot at Victory Road, but they want their next shot. Mack wants in the X Division title tournament. Swann wants in the Call Your Shot gauntlet match. Brian Myers shows up. He says he's in the gauntlet match as well, but he whines so much that a tag match is set for later. Josh Alexander then complains about Ace Austin, so Scott D'Amore makes the match between them for later. And this actually leads us to the first match of the night, which was Hikuleo versus David Finlay. David Finlay beat Hikuleo with a roll-up, and I freaking hate these endings of these matches. Stop the roll-up endings.
The roll-up movement, Boris. Anti-roll-up agenda has been clear for some time. No, it's definitely a trope. It's definitely overdone. And it's rarely earned. It rarely works anymore.
Yeah, it worked for 1, 2, 3 Kid, and that's about it.
And he won with the moonsault.
Yeah.
He beat Razor Ramon with the moonsault anyway. I'm sure he won many times with a roll-up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, it's just, it's not... It's the easiest, cheapest way out.
Yep. This match went, and this is the thing. You go for your roll-up in the first 5 minutes of a match. But this match went 11 minutes and 14 seconds.
Ugh.
Yeah. Look, Hikuleo, get all the practice you can while you're out of New Japan. Just do everything you can. He's getting better, but there's still some obvious signs that he's, not up to par and still learning.
Yeah, hey man, he is young, and this is how you learn. There's only one way to do it.
Yep. All right, so after the match, the brawl is on with Finn Juice. They're trying to fight the Bullet Club. Bullet Club ends up coming down. And then we get a vignette by Violent by Design. They talk about what happened to Rhino last week. Rhino, for the record, got kicked out of the group. They say that this was necessary. Violence is the only cure for the sickness, and while Rhino can apologize, he needs to decide and do the right thing. They need an answer next week. So is he in or is he out? Matt Cardona is done with Rohit Raju and Shira, but Chelsea Green is ready to take out Raju herself. Su Young's followers are around. They're just walking around. See, it's hard to report on this because, like, you know how Impact does their vignettes, like vignette after vignette after vignette.
Yeah, just bam, 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 bam. Like, yeah, it's pretty good when you're watching. It flows well, but yeah, in this portion of the recap, I can imagine it being quite annoying.
Yep. All right, match number 2, Chelsea Green versus RoH Raju. I don't even want to talk about this match. This match was horrible and the worst possible ending. RoH Raju beat Chelsea Green via small package in 4 minutes, 7 seconds.
Oh, that's an intergender match via small package.
Yep. How pathetic. How pathetic.
Now is not the time or place because let's try to keep this thing brief. But yeah, one day we're going to do a big intergender rant. Nothing in wrestling pisses me off more. I hate it the most. Intergender wrestling sucks. It's stupid. It's like white trash garbage. It makes no sense. I hate it.
Yep. We get a look back at what W. Morrissey did at Victory Road. He took out Alicia Edwards. This sends us into another promo with Eddie Edwards swearing vengeance. But he doesn't want to hear from Sami Callihan because apparently they're BFFs now. So yeah, Moose comes in. So that doesn't work for Sami Callihan. He wants revenge of his own. Moose comes down, but he gets beaten down as Eddie Edwards wants to know where W. Morrissey is. This is very Russo booking. Like, there's just a lot of stories being meshed together, which is kind of cool, but it makes for a very messy show when the execution isn't the best.
Exactly. Yeah, it just gets confusing and muddled, right?
Yeah. All right, so Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus Brian Myers in a mystery opponent. Myers says his learning tree isn't ready to team with him in this match, so he has a surprise partner. VSK, another one of his students. This match was all right. It only went 5 minutes, 16 seconds. Rich Swann and Willie Mack beat Brian Myers and VSK via a high crossbody.
Interesting. Well, I guess I wouldn't expect Brian Myers and student of to do much here. How was this match though? How did VSK look?
Not bad at all, to be honest. This match, I would honestly give this a 3.5
nice.
TNAs out of 5.
That's good. 70% Sonny Siaki percentage.
Yep. All right. Johnny Swinger is backstage. He's worried about Impact going to Las Vegas and putting him out of business. He writes a letter to Scott D'Amore, who thinks he just bought the company from Bob Carter's daughter. Therefore, D'Amore needs to come to Swinger's Palace next week and talk about this. And he signs it, J.J. Dillon.
That's fun. That's a good gag.
Your favorite tag team, my favorite tag team, the Good Brothers, they're still on vacation because they have beaten every team around. They're on the top of the mountain, and the only thing to do is knock any other team off the mountain. So we get a vignette of the Good Brothers and seeing how effing annoying they are week after week on Impact.
Sounds like the most skippable thing I can imagine in pro wrestling right now.
Yep. Then we got a very long, very unnecessary Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo face-to-face. They've been working this. I shouldn't downplay how bad it was. How good it was. It wasn't the worst, but they've been doing this week after week after week for months and months and months. They did the respect angle. Now they're doing the we hate you angle. So Mickie James, Deonna Purrazzo is set up for Bound for Glory.
All right. Well, it'll be a good match. Deonna is one of the most underrated women's wrestlers out there. She's really, really good. Mickie can still go to some extent, so we're going to see.
Yep.
I like that they're doing it, but yeah, I haven't seen a second of this build. So.
Yep. Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan, they're going after Dubs Morrissey. They get cut off by security. Scott D'Amore makes the street fight for next week. Then we get Gail Kim. She announces a tournament for Knockouts Knockdown featuring an 8-woman tournament with 4 knockouts and 4 from elsewhere. The winner gets a Knockouts title match, but here's the influence to interrupt things. Madison Rayne thinks they should get a Knockout Tag Team title shot, but Kim says they have to beat Rachel Kyle Ellering and Jordan Grace next week. So, main event time. Josh Alexander versus Ace Austin. This match, dude, watch this match. This was a great match, and it's all Josh Alexander. Ace Austin is good, but Josh Alexander is like near perfection. This match went about 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes, about 15:10. Josh Alexander beat him with the C4 spike. Fun little match, really well done. I'm going to have to give this match 4 TNAs out of 5.
Nice. I'll definitely check that out. Love some Josh Alexander. And yeah, Ace Austin's a pretty good wrestler, man.
Yep. So here's my review for this week's Impact. Too many vignettes, too many cuts, too many short vignettes that make a very long segment. But the in-ring, for the most part, was okay. And for God's sake, just stop with intergender wrestling and stop with small package victories.
Brutal, man. The roll up. Yeah.
But,
so yeah, it kind of seemed like a pretty bad show listening to your review, but I would check out that main event for sure.
It's all set up for Bound for Glory, right? It's all story for Bound for Glory. I'm hoping that this week we see some of the stories actually happen, and I'm not quite sure what they're doing with W. Morrissey. Is it going to be a tag team between Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan against Moose and Morrissey, or are they going to have like kind of 2 breakout programs from there? I'm not quite sure where they're going with that.
Do you think Enzo comes in at any point or no?
I hope not.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep, I'd rather see Bobby Fish than Enzo.
I respectfully disagree, sir.
Yeah. Then that's that. All right, so that is Impact overall. Like I say, I'm really looking forward to this week's episode, mainly because it can't be worse than this one. The in-ring is good. The stories need a little more something, and the production is horrendous.
Yeah, fair enough, man. That seems pretty much par for the course for Impact Wrestling.
All right, let us move on to New Japan Pro Wrestling G1. All right. We have a lot to cover. So,
yes.
Matt, do your thing.
Yes, thanks, buddy. So where we last left you was G1 Climax Night 3, and that, I believe, was September 23rd. So we now have 4 shows to catch up on over the past week. So we'll just quickly go through all of the G1 matches in these 4 shows. At the end, we'll give you the current standings. We're also going to give you a list of recommended matches. It's basically every match so far that we've gone above 4 stars, 4 whatevers on at this point. So without further ado, Boris, let's go. G1 Climax 31 Night 4. This was from September 24th, 2021. So match number 1 was Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hiroki Goto. This was exactly what you were expecting out of a Tanahashi versus Goto opening match. Very good wrestling. Wasn't great. Old dog Tanahashi gets the win with a crafty veteran finish. Boris, you guessed it. Small package.
Yep. I watched this match and I'm just like, of course. And then as I'm talking about Impact, I'm like, I know exactly what's going to kick off our G1 coverage.
It's just funny that, this one was earned though. This told the story. And Tanahashi would do it again later in this tournament. He gets outclassed and out wrestled by his younger, beefier opponent, but Tanahashi uses his veteran instinct and his guile to pull out the win. So yeah, Tanahashi pins Goto with a small package in 14 minutes and 10 seconds. We're going to go 3.5 climaxes on that one. 70%. It's a B. Moving on, next match, we had Tama Tonga versus Chase Owens. So this was actually, I really dug this match. Tama Tonga having a good tournament, Chase Owens having a good tournament. This was Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, Boris, so you were kind of expecting like a lot of bullshit and chicanery, but it was a straight up wrestling match.
I like this match. I like this match a lot. It wasn't the best technical match, but there was a nice little story being told. I loved how Chase Owens was watching his back. He didn't really trust Gato out there. Like, he was kind of like, I know what happens when someone's in the ring. So I kind of like that story that they were saying. I like the Chase Owens, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to give the fight to you. Bring the fight to you, I should say. I think that they did a great job.
Yeah, 1,000,000% agree with you, buddies. Yeah, so Tama Tonga pins Chase Owens with the gun stun, aka RKO, in 12 minutes and 53 seconds. I would also go 3.5 climaxes out of 5. That's going to be a 70%. These are pretty good matches. And Boris, here's a match that was even better. Yoshihashi versus Jeff Cobb. Cobb pins Yoshihashi with the Tour of the Islands, which is his spinny power slam dealy, in 13 minutes and 21 seconds. Man, Yoshihashi got good. Dude rules now.
Dude, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, dude, this guy is actually legitimately half decent now. But Cobb, he is a monster. He's a beast. He's insane. This guy needs to be world champ somewhere.
Yeah, man, he's a dark horse to win this entire G1 Climax 31. And we know that he and Shingo have amazing matches every time. So.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think that they would do something like this, like that? Like just completely swerve us all and like bring up new stars?
They could, man. Why not? They have to do something with New Japan, right now. I could see them just going back to safe Okada, though. That's what I picked. That's what I think they're going to do.
Yep.
But
to Okada Reigns, as I like to call him.
Yeah. Yabadu! Okada sucks. Anyway. I would give this match 3 3/4 climaxes out of 5, 75% B+, best thing on the show so far. Next match, Boris, Sonata versus Tai Chi. Tai Chi wins with the Black Mephisto, which is like the air raid crash, the white noise, whatever. 25 minutes and 15 seconds. This match went 17 minutes too long.
This match went 20 minutes too long. Sonata is becoming a boring wrestler for me. He is so formulaic. I hate his what do they call it? The sit down rap thing. The something in paradise, the Paradise Lock.
Oh yeah, the Paradise Lock is.
Yeah,
I think it's the Paradise Lock.
Yeah, I can't stand that thing. It is the most stupid move in all of wrestling, especially in New Japan. It just seems so off, right?
Yeah.
That's like honestly,
it's like an Orange Cassidy move.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It seems like can you imagine if someone were to start using the people's elbow in New Japan?
Well, I could imagine him using it. Yeah, sorry, not to offend any of our female listeners, but yeah, I also find Sonata to be quite boring these days. Yeah, this match went like you said, like 20 minutes too long, maybe. It was good wrestling that went an hour past its target, so that's kind of typical of the G1 sometimes. So I went Mendoza line for this one, 2.5 climaxes out of 5.
Yeah, and the worst part is that this match, from the entrances, because it was a Tai Chi match, that this was like a 30+ minute exhibition.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, lots of time eaten up. The main event of night 4 was Kazuchika Okada versus Evil. Okada pins Evil with the Rainmaker in 21 minutes and 46 seconds. Went longer. It felt longer than it went. I couldn't call it a bad match. Okada cannot have a bad wrestling match, but you've seen this match before. You don't need to watch this one.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. We've seen this match quite a few times already, and I really do think that Evil and Sonata, I know that they're not even the same groups anymore, but they just need to become a tag team again. They need to just stop this singles push for both guys.
I can co-sign that. I can get behind that. One thing I do like about this G1 a lot is that Okada is full Okada. He is gaining strength, not losing it in this G1.
Yep.
We're going to go 3 climaxes out of 5 for that main event. It is a 60%. And yeah, on night 4, there was nothing really worth going out of your way to see unless you just love Jeff Cobb or Yoshihashi.
Yep. It's still funny that that's the best match of the night overall. I also like the Chase Owens match. Like, it just told a good story. And, more Bullet Club matches should be like that. I'm starting to get really sick and tired of every Bullet Club matches being a schmoz.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. It's just it's far past overplayed. All right, so let's go into night 5, September 26th, 2021, G1 Climax 31, night 5. Starts off with the Great Okan versus ya boy, Yujiro Takahashi. This match, honestly, it was an average wrestling match, which I mean as a great compliment to these men, because I didn't know that they had an average match in them.
Yeah, agreed 100%.
So yeah, Okan pins Yujiro with the Iron Claw Slam, which is called the Eliminator, 14 minutes and 16 seconds. At this moment, Okan is undefeated in the G1, and yeah, he's looking like a world beater. Yeah. I would go 2.5 Mendoza line for this one. Way better than I thought it was going to be, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. It was better than what I thought it was going to be, but you compare this to other matches that we've seen already in the G1, and this one was meh at best.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so the next match, Toru Yano versus Tangaloa. Ugh. This was your standard Yano match. He's Santino Marella. He's Eddie Guerrero. He's Santino Guerrero, Boris.
Well, how the hell do you put Santino Marella and Eddie Guerrero in the same sentence?
Just in terms of the referee shenanigans. Yeah, you're right. He's Eddie Guerrero on his worst day was 10 times better than Toru Yano will ever dream to be.
You know what's funny? I'm the one with the hot takes, but you say some really stupid stuff that pisses people off.
That's not that dumb. Santino Guerrero. I just wanted to throw that line in. I just wanted to call him Santino Guerrero. Anyway, just in terms of the shenanigans with the referee, he does Eddie Guerrero spots all the time. I'm not saying he's as talented anyway. This match was bad. Yano wins with your favorite small package roll-up cradle thingy in 10 minutes and 46 seconds. At this exact second, Yano was in second place in the group, Boris.
Yeah, I know. It's sure. Let's move on.
So we're going to go 1.5 climaxes out of 5, just because it was slightly better than Yano versus the Great Okan.
Yep.
All right, next match. It's a combination that could never go wrong. Tomohiro Ishii versus Kenta. So coming into this match, Kenta was in 4th. Ishii was in 9th, basically in dead last, because Naito was already out of this tournament. So I was kind of thinking that Ishii would win, but Kenta pins him, Boris, with your favorite schoolboy roll-up, 21 minutes and 8 seconds.
I just don't get it. I just don't. I'm gonna prepare a full rant about the roll-ups very soon.
Next week, maybe on NXT Talk when they do 3 on NXT 2.0. But yeah,
I swear to God, if Ciampa loses the belt via roll-up, I'm gonna freak the F out.
I can see it. I'm positive. Breaker wins with roll-up. Io Shirai loses via roll-up. Anyway, this match was a tad too long, but you can't go wrong with these guys. They will always have great matches when lined up against each other. I went 3 3/4 climaxes on this one. 75%. It's a B+ in Canada. Boris.
Yep. Cool.
All right, next up, the main event of night 5. Highly recommend this match. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kota Ibushi. It's the finals of the Cruiserweight Classic, Boris.
Oh, my God. My God.
Coming into this match, Zack Sabre Jr. is undefeated. Ibushi is, he's in that dwindling pack of guys in the upper middle there. And Zack Sabre wins clean, submits Kota in 19 minutes and 55 seconds with something that he calls Clarky Cat Bad Balloon Remix, which basically is a Brock lock, the old Brock Lesnar, you know what I mean? I think Sami Callihan uses it too. Yep. The leg across the head while seated with a grapevine around the arms. Zack Sabre Jr. inventing submissions and torturing men with it. This was a great match. 4 1/4 climaxes out of 5, 85%, solid A. Go watch this wrestling match.
Yeah, it was such a good freaking match. I really enjoyed this. And it was one of those matches where it's like, who's going to win? Who's honestly going to win? I thought Ibushi was going to win, to be 100% honest. But then I remembered that Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win this tournament. So,
It's a take. He's a world beater right now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. We're on to G1 Climax 31, Night 6, which is actually Wednesday morning, September 29th, 2021. We're going to start with Evil versus Tai Chi. Coming into this match, Tai Chi was somehow tied for first and Evil tied for second. So this was actually a huge matchup in the block at this moment. Evil ended up winning via a technical submission when he locked a Scorpion Deathlock on an unconscious Tai Chi for the win at 11 minutes and 30 seconds. You know, it was an Evil match. It was a lot of cheating and chicanery, but I'm a sucker for heel versus heel matches, Boris. I thought this was pretty decent for what it was. 11 minutes, good opener. I went 3 climaxes out of 5 for this one.
Yeah, I for the most part like this match. One thing that I noticed at this point of the tournament, that is the match placements. Before, it was very traditional that you had your tag team undercard matches, and then at the end you'd get your G1 matches. I kind of like the mix that they're going with. They're starting the show off with a couple G1 matches and ending the show with a couple G1 matches and making you watch the entire show like an idiot.
Like some kind of moron. Good on you, Ghetto. So we're going to continue here. Chase Owens versus Sonata. We don't have to say too much about it, but I will say Chase is performing really well. I think I kind of like him more than Sonata at this moment. Sonata did pin Chase Owens with his mood assault in, thankfully, 12 minutes, 11 minutes and 58 seconds. I thought this was actually like the best probably Sonata match in the tournament so far.
Yeah. And that's it's crazy. And it's what I honestly thought for a few years ago, for a few months, that Sonata was going to be a standout performer.
It just kind of seems like everyone has progressed and stepped up a notch or two, and he's kind of just stayed stagnant where he's at, you know?
Yep. But the unfortunate part, and this is kind of where I kind of fight with New Japan, and it's just like he's so high up on the card, but he's just not having good matches anymore. Like, he's really being pushed and pushed and pushed by his opponents to have a good match. Yeah.
And he's getting dragged there kicking and screaming when he has one.
Yep.
So for this one, I would go as high as 3.5 climaxes out of 5, 70%, pretty solid match. Next up, Jeff Cobb versus Hiroki Goto. So Jeff Cobb and Okada control their own destiny in this thing. They just have to continue to win, and they will stay in first place until they meet each other, right? So Goto, for his part, he's usually like the G1 ace. The saying is Goto puts the G in G1 or whatever it is. I don't quite know it. But anyway, Goto's doing really poorly. He's lost 2 in a row to beatable opponents. He lost to Taichi, who sucks, and he lost to Tanahashi after dominating him. But then Tanahashi stole it with your favorite, the roll-up. Yep, anyway. So this was the Jeff Cobb show. He continues to crank, beats Goto with his spinning power slam dealio called the Tour of the Islands. 15 minutes and 8 seconds. Very good match. Not quite great. It's exactly what you're expecting when you picture Goto versus Cobb. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I have a feeling that Goto is going to have a really bad tournament. And then the build up basically for, the rest of October, November, December is going to be like him trying to refine himself. And he's going to get a huge win against someone like a Kenta at Wrestle Kingdom.
I can see that. Or do you think they finally like switch him heel and he goes like mean guy Goto?
Yeah, that'd be good. Change it up a little bit, right?
Yeah. I think they could use him. I'd rather see Goto in Evil's role than Evil.
Oh, same here. I'm bored of Evil as well. Like, it's the same. And unfortunately with Evil, the issue isn't so much him. It's that anytime there's an Evil match, there's a schmoz and BS happening.
Yeah, 100%. Trillion percent agree, and it's so distracting and annoying. Anyway, so I would go 3 3/4 B plus 75% on that one. Good showing by Jeff Cobb. Another match, I'm going to go the same level. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Tama Tonga. Honest to God, one of the best Tama Tonga singles matches I've ever seen. Tonga beats the shit out of Tanahashi. Tanahashi keeps coming and coming. Tonga gets a little lax, and Tanahashi pins him with a crucifix reversal in 14-17. One of those things where Tonga takes a lazy pin and Tanahashi turns it into the crucifix for the win. Tonga's having a decent tourney, all things considered. Considering like who he is and where he is on the card and what people think of his abilities, he's definitely showing up. He's doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're gearing him up for a run in North America with another promotion. That's honestly where I see this going with him, and that's why they're really trying to build him up, get the whole New Japan thing around him so that he can really show up in North America and do well.
That's a really good call. I can definitely see that. I think you might be onto something there, Boris. But yeah, just like the previous match, I would go 3 3/4 on this one. Very good, not quite great. But Tanahashi getting his ass beat and pulling rabbits out of his hat here, 2 in a row. So we're going to go, 3 3/4 climaxes out of 5, 75%, B+ in Canada. Boris, the main event of night 6 was the best match of Yoshi-Hashi's career. Kazuchika Okada versus Yoshi-Hashi.
Yeah, this match I had 0 expectations for. I was thinking above the Mendoza line simply because it's Okada. But this match impressed me quite a bit.
And it was what do we talk about all the time, Boris? The pillars, right? So not only is the camera work so awesome in New Japan because they just let the wrestlers do the storytelling and they don't go over the top. They don't Kevin Dunn you over the head with cuts, right? But Chris Charlton on commentary did an absolutely unreal job of telling the story of Yoshi-Hashi. He made you believe that this fucking goofball had a shot to beat Kazuchika Okada in the main event of a G1 show. He made you care about the plight of Yoshi-Hashi, this kid who came in a tryout and he got cut because he was too small, and then he came in again and he looked even better, but they cut him and he kept coming to these tryouts and they kept cutting him because he was so small, and then he finally made the roster and he wrestled Okada at, I think it was a Wrestle Kingdom in like 2011 or 12. Okada beat the crap out of him, and then Okada's gone on to be the Ric Flair of Japan, the Randy Orton, the John Cena, and yes, I included Randy Orton in that sentence, Boris, and
I'll let the crowd get you on that one.
Anyway, they really made you think that not only did Yoshi-Hashi have a shot, but that he actually belonged like in this main event. It was just a great job overall. And of course, Okada wins in the end with the Rainmaker in 26 minutes, 53 seconds. Honest to God, the best match of Yoshi-Hashi's entire career. Watch this wrestling match. 4 1/4 climax eye.
Caliente. I was honestly really, wow. Good. I love this match also. And like you said, it was the commentary. Dude, this guy, Chris Charlton, amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of the best in the business to tell a story.
Yeah, exactly right. He's his voice is like an acquired taste. It takes you a second to adjust to it, but he's really improved over the last like 2 years. He's getting really good at this commentary thing. I love his commentary.
Remember the and sorry for completely like veering us off the tracks here, but just sticking with his commentary and him making you care about certain wrestlers. Do you remember the Hiroshi versus El Desperado match and just the storytelling? He told you the full story of, the origins of El Desperado and why that match was huge and why El Desperado needed to win, etc. Like, this guy is so freaking good at just making you care about people that we should have zero reason to care about.
Exactly, man. He like lets you into the world, and the fact that he understands Japanese is so huge because he actually knows what's going on. But yeah, it's so good. He is a treat on these English productions of New Japan shows. Definitely like super necessary to be there, especially in a tournament like the G1 with so many moving parts, right?
Yep.
All right, so moving on. This was this morning, Boris, night 7, September 30th. 2021 G1 Climax 31 started off with Tangaloa versus Tomohiro Ishii. Now, this was your classic Bret the Hitman Ishii match, buddy. This was Ishii knowing what his opponent can and can't do, knowing what he can and can't do, and putting together a good, logical wrestling match based around their limitations.
Yep. That's exactly it, and I really enjoyed this match overall. Ishii is just so freaking good. Yeah, I like this, but I think it went a little too long.
That's fair. I definitely could see that. I won't argue that at all. Ishii pins Tangaloa to get his first official win in the G1 with a brain buster in 16 minutes and 18 seconds.
Yeah. It's interesting because going into this match, my other theory was that Goto and Ishii were going to have a shit tournament and just say, all right, let's tag team together again.
Yeah, that's interesting. I could kind of see that. I hope Goto's going heel, but famous last words. We've been saying that for a long time.
Yep.
Who knows?
Exactly. Go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to go 3.5 out of 5. 3.5 climaxes out of 5. You could argue it was too long and maybe I overrated it, but it's Ishii. He did a great job. Next up, we had the undefeated Great Okan atop the block versus the undefeated Zack Sabre Jr., the real main event of this show, Boris. Coming into this match, Great Okan 4-0, Zack Sabre 3-0, and this was actually a scientific chess match. I didn't know Great Okan had this in him. I didn't realize he was this good on the ground.
He is. He's really good. He had great matches against Okada. I think I gave Okada a lot of credit for those matches. Yeah, he's not the worst, but he's no Zack Sabre Jr.
No, he is no Zack Sabre Jr. So ZSJ wins another clean submission, submitting the Great Okan in 15 minutes and 26 seconds with something called How About These Legs, which is like a koala bear style choking mounted armbar thing. I actually have pictures of all of these submissions up on my coverage at sportsfap.com. Be sure to check that out if you want to see Zack Sabre Jr. murking these people. But yeah, I thought this was, this was professional grappling. It was pro graps, even though I want to punch anyone who calls wrestling pro graps.
You're using climaxes as rating systems. You're fapping to sports. Matt, what's wrong with you?
That's true. That's 2 jerk-off puns in the same coverage here. I should probably choose one or the other. Anyway, on that note, we're going to go 3.5 climaxes out of 5. 70% climax percentage on this one. Boy.
Love it. All right, here's a question from a listener, and I'm going to ask it now just because this is the last time we're going to talk about the G1 champion, Zack Sabre Jr., and he asks... With which submission move do you think Zack Sabre Jr. is going to beat Ishii with?
Oh, that is dirty because Ishii, he's the stone pitbull, man. He doesn't feel feelings or pain. He doesn't tap out to any man. So I think it's gonna be called the Sledgehammer of Oz, where he wraps him up in an octopus hold and then pulls out a sledgehammer and literally murders him in the middle of the ring for the submission.
Oh, Lord. I love that.
All right. Yeah, no, Zack Sabre Jr. has been an absolute treat on the microphone and in the ring in this entire G1. He's great. Watch every single second of everything he does.
Yep.
All right. Next match, Kota Ibushi versus Toru Yano. Coming into this match, Ibushi struggling to find his form after suffering from pneumonia. Toru Yano is 3-1. He's gotten 3 wins too many.
Yep.
So this was exactly what you're expecting. Toru Yano pulls some crazy shenanigans. He puts a bag over Kota's head. He rolls him up in the ring apron like a human burrito. Just rolls him up like a Sopranos victim in a rug. And then Kota breaks out of his trap, beats the shit out of Toru Yano, and wins with the Kamigoye in 4 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yep. This match, I liked this match because it was the right length, the right guy won, and you had the Yano stupidity. So, because this is the last time we're going to be talking about Yano, this is the issue I have with G1, that it really highlights some of the tropes that New Japan has. The Yano matches, the Bullet Club schmozzes, the stupid ass interference, the stupid ass roll-up victories. You never actually realize how many roll-up victories, roll-up wins, roll-up covers there are in New Japan until the G1.
It's like annoying because like if it were real and the stuff that Yano was doing was working, obviously he would continue to do it. If it were real and the stuff that the Bullet Club was doing was working, obviously they would continue to do it. The thing is, Boris, it's fake and we have to watch it. So please stop doing that, Yep.
Agreed 100%. Agreed 100%.
But yeah, I did I did overall. I was worried that this would go like 20 minutes as a swerve. So I'm actually really good that it was exactly what it needed to be. It achieved what it set out to do. We're going to go 3 climaxes out of 5, 60%. It's a C, Boris.
Cool. That's exactly what I would have given it. I may have gone a little slower, but I have to 100% admit I wasn't fully invested in this morning's show. As I was watching it, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. So we're going into the main event now. Kenta versus Shingo. Shingo, obviously, the current reigning, defending IWGP World Champion. Both of these guys currently with 1 loss in the group. So they kind of need this, especially with Zack Sabre Jr. absolutely cranking everyone. They kind of can't afford to take the second loss. So a very important, very hard-fought wrestling match. I really like the storytelling here a lot because this was the first part of a greater tale, which is Shingo is wearing down. You see it a lot in the G1 Climax. The champion is getting everyone's best shot, and he's like it's a war of attrition, Boris, and his life bar is dwindling. Shingo's is. So after Kenta, the referee gets bumped, and after Kenta grabs a chair and lays waste to Shingo's arm, Shingo makes a big comeback, wins with his move, the Last of the Dragon, which is like a wrist clutch fireman's carry neckbreaker driver-ish thing. It was 24 minutes, 23:56 to be precise. A great wrestling match. I really like the storytelling, and I didn't mind the length of it because the previous one only went 4 minutes.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say. I had no issue with this match whatsoever.
Yeah, so I would say this is a great match. I would recommend this one too. In the main event of Night 7, Kenta versus Shingo. We're going to go 4 climaxes out of 5 for that one. So that is everything that we have missed so far. I'll just give you a little preview of the next 2 shows. So Friday morning coming up, we have Night 8, which is Jeff Cobb versus Tama Tonga. Again, Jeff Cobb is undefeated. Needs that one. Evil versus Chase Owens. Yoshihashi versus Taichi. Okada versus Goto. Again, Okada undefeated, so that's very interesting. And Tanahashi versus Sonata as the main event of Night 8. Both of those guys have 1 loss. Neither one can afford to go to 2 losses. So that's basically a loser leaves town match right there in the main event.
Yep, exactly.
G1 Climax Night 9 is Sunday morning, and that has Great Okan versus Kenta, Tangaloa versus Yujiro, Ishii versus Zack Sabre Jr. Hook it to my veins. This is Sabre Jr. wanting to submit people. 4 submissions in a row against the Stone Pitbull who does not feel human pain. Let's do it.
Yeah, dude. I think this is my most anticipated match of over the next week or so.
Guaranteed. 100% agree with you, buddy. And the main event of Sunday morning's show, Night 9, is Kota Ibushi versus Shingo. So how could you go wrong there? The top 2 matches on Sunday morning's show are going to be great.
Yep. I think it's going to be match of the year contenders, like realistically, if they give them the time, if they let them do what they can do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so quickly, standings right now at this moment. Block A, this is the group with Naito. So Naito is out of it completely, and we're giving everyone all of the forfeit points already. So consider Naito having lost 9 matches and everyone else having their win versus Naito.
That hurts me.
Number 1.
That hurts me so much.
So,
but
it's sad.
It's, you know what? It's not far from the way that they book Naito in New Japan sometimes, so sure.
Oh no, I almost spit coffee on my computer. That's a little harsh, but I see your point. Anyway, so in first place, 4-0, 8 points, Zack Sabre Jr. In second place, 4-1, 8 points, but a loss to Zack Sabre Jr., the Great Okan. Third place, Shingo Takagi. He has 6 points at 3-1. And then in fourth place, Kenta, Kota Ibushi, and Toru Yano somehow. They all have 6 points, but they're 3-2. So those are the guys who still have somewhat of a mathematical shot to win Block A. There's also Yujiro at 4 points, 2-2. Ishii at 4 points, 2-3. Tangaloa at 2 points, 1-3, and Naito out of the group. Yep. So it's basically looking like Sabres to lose, but one of Kenta, Kota or Yano, God bless him, could come through mathematically and still steal this.
Mathematically.
Block B is the Okada versus Cobb show. It's looking like both guys are going to be undefeated until they wrestle each other. Jeff Cobb, 6.3-0. Kazuchika Okada, 6.3-0. Now, the fuck pack, as they say, Boris, as I say, in this group, the people who have...
they?
They, in this case, is me and me alone. But, yeah, so there are 4 people tied at 3rd place in this group. 4 points, 2 and 1. That is Evil, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Sonata, and Tai Chi. All of those guys could theoretically still kind of pull it out. And again, Tanahashi and Sonata are wrestling as the main event of the upcoming show there. So one of those guys is going to be out of that mix, and they're going to basically be out. So Jeff Cobb, Kazuchika Okada, undefeated. Evil, Tanahashi, Sonata, and Tai Chi still with an outside chance to catch him. Tama Tonga has 2 points, 1 win, 2 losses, and Chase Owens, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi have all gone 0-3, yet to win.
Yep.
All right. And one last thing, recommended matches, just a quick top 5 matches of the G1 so far. Number 1 match, Shingo Takagi versus Zack Sabre from night 3. We gave that 4.5 climaxes, 4.5 stars. The second, that's the best match of the tournament, in our opinion, my opinion anyway. Number 2, this was the match that Dave Meltzer gave 5.5 stars to. So this is the most famous, arguably like the best in terms of general consensus, but I think it was the second best. Still an incredible match. That's Ishii versus Shingo from night 1. So those are the 2 classics, I think, of this G1 so far. Shingo versus Zack Sabre and Shingo versus Ishii from night 3 and night 1 respectively.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Those 2 matches are just must watch. If you don't watch those matches, you hate professional wrestling.
Yes. I would also say watch Okada versus Tanahashi, Okada versus Yoshihashi, and Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Those are your top 5 matches. Okada Tanahashi night 2, Okada Yoshihashi night 6, and Ibushi Zack Sabre Jr. night 5. Those are the 5 best matches. Every single one of those we went above 4 stars for.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Though that's a pretty good list he got there.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. And I think we did it. I think we got it in, buddy. So yeah, next week we're coming at you with 4 more of these things, I think.
Yeah, I think there are 4 shows that we're going to be covering, because it's the 2 over the weekend, and then I think there's one on Tuesday and Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah, Monday and Thursday, I think.
The 2
yes. Funny how that works.
Oh my god, that is actually hilarious. You know what? Let's keep going. Let's keep talking, because I have the calendar here. So it is Monday and it is Thursday. You are correct.
There you go. There you go, man. Yeah, just because, I'm hoping so, because I just wrote it down. I'm staring at it right now. So hopefully I did that correct.
Yeah, in my mind, I was I'm not even going to justify it. I was probably thinking the off days.
Oh, anyway, well, good job today, Hobie. I think we got it all in. We had like 7 wrestling shows to cover and some sports. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. And yeah, I just wanted to cheap plug. I'm going to be on the main show this Sunday with the big boss, Jason Agnew, talking a little draft. I'm sure talking a little G1 and whatever, But hopefully check that out on terrestrial radio in Canada if you're nasty.
Yeah, look at that. Making it to the show. You are. All right, so if you are a patron of Sunday night's main event, make sure to catch all the other shows. There's so many great shows. You got the midweek markout. You got NXT Talk. You got this show, Bam. You have the Smack Daddies, and then you have All Elite Weekly and the Old Fucks covering Rampage. Plus, you got the main terrestrial show early with a podcast special. The podcast special is always a fun time. And it's always a good listen, because they really expand on just the general wrestling chatter. Dude, we talked Impact and New Japan on the same show.
The good, the bad, and the ugly of pro wrestling, buddy. All here on BAM.
I love it. The show is BAM, Boris and Matt Weekly. He's Matt. I'm Boris. Goodbye.